Disconnecting. Here we go. And 3.
Hi, you guys. Ginger Cook here with Acrylic Painting Monday. It's Monday again, 5:30 Central Time here in wonderful Texas. And wherever you are watching us, we want to give you a big welcome. We're going to be painting a landscape of lavender field tonight. Landscape, lavender field, an old house, and some mountains, some hills, the sky. And we're going to talk about 4 things you've got to know to paint landscapes as an artist. 4 major things you've got to know, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to have another giveaway with some limited edition Ginger Cook bird hop prints. We're going to tell you what's coming up in the Academy for now. We're going to give a shout out to a few of you if we have time.
Oh,
and
did you send me something?
I don't know. Maybe we don't have time because we got a lot to show. We have a lot to show you. And let's start with the questions. While we also we want to thank our moderators for coming. We know Judy's feeling a little better. I don't know if she made it today, but she's been ill for quite a while. And want to thank Liz 1 and 2. I think are here, right? Liz 2 anyway for sure. And who else, John?
We have Steffi and Liz 2, Luann.
Hey, Luann, nice to hear from you again. Love it. Thanks for your Steffi.
Look at participants and. Yep. And Mona. Miss Mona's
Oh, Mona
in the
from
house.
Sweden. Wow, Mona's in the house. All right. Thanks, Mona, very much. You got to appreciate when people are, those of you who are watching from distant lands, where your time zone is not 5:30 in the afternoon, and you're maybe watching in the middle of the night or very early in the morning, we thank you. Thank you, and we hope everybody gives us a thumbs up before you even know what's happening, because this is the kind of show that is. Thumbs up, you guys. Subscribe if you haven't done it already, because you're going to want to know what's on this channel, and we're always bringing you great news. And we certainly hope you've read our Gazette, or Ginger Cook YouTube Gazette. We hope you subscribe to that, and then you really are in the know. So we're going to, before we talk about the landscape, these are what we're going to be covering in the tutorial tonight. What is a vanishing point? Now, some of you may know that, but if you don't,
We'll discuss it.
We're going to discuss it. How do you find a horizon line? I guess we should ask, do you know what a horizon line is? But assuming you do.
If you don't, we'll discuss it.
We'll discuss it. How do you determine where it is if there's hills or mountains? And then something you've got to always ask yourself as an artist when you're painting landscapes is, what happens to colors as they go back toward the horizon line? What happens to them? And then 4, what happens to objects as they go back to the horizon line?
Man,
for instance, if you have for instance, you have an object or like a fence post or even an animal, person, animal, house, place, doesn't mean anything, I guess. What happens to it? What changes about it as it goes back to the horizon line? What changes? Because if you don't understand those things, you're going to have some very strange looking landscapes. These are what you absolutely have to know. But good news is this is simple to remember. You're going to know it because you'll never forget it, because we're going to tell you tonight. All right? So I'm going to move our chalkboard for a minute.
Our chalkboard.
Had that chalkboard forever. It's been pretty good, right? Here's before I get into our colors, here's basically our landscape, and it's a little farmhouse. There's some lavender fields. There's some hills back here, and there's a sky, some trees, and so forth. Okay, and so the first thing we would want to do when we're drawing something like this on is to determine where the sky is going to be. So, you can grid this on. We have all kinds of videos, and even there's a little app you can buy. But right about here is we're going to say we have a little 8x10 canvas, and it's painted with just some leftover paint, just any old gold canvas color would do. But this is raw umber and yellow oxide. Okay, so there's our sky. All right, and then right about here is our lavender field. This is where our lavender field is. Okay. So up here we're saying is the sky. Let me make sure I've got this measured correctly. About like Yay, 3 fingers
You know, there's
down.
an invention called rulers. You have numbers on them and everything.
Okay, listen. John thinks he's so good with numbers. Let's stump him, shall we? Because let's just shut him up now. Okay, Mr. Little.
Yes, Mr.
How many seconds are there in a year?
How many seconds are there in a year?
How many seconds are in a year? Let's give him a math.
You know, I can do this even without a calculator. I can do it off the top of my head. I know this number.
And without asking Google?
Without even asking Google. I wouldn't even ask you-know-who.
All right. What?
12.
12? Come on, John. It's not 12.
Absolutely. January 2nd, February 2nd, March 2nd.
You're such a smarty. Okay.
Well, I'm telling you. That's what it is.
All right. So this is we're saying where the sky is. And I can measure it here with my ruler. It's where's one I can see? I always get. Why am I keeping rulers I can't see? That one.
Why can't you see that one? I could see that one from here.
Yeah, but I can't read it, so it doesn't matter if you can see it. Obviously, I know it's a ruler,
those
but I
things
can't.
that are on top of your head? Those are called glasses.
Oh yeah, those. Yeah, I can put those on too. Those. John and I just went to the eye doctor, and I'm happy to know that my eyes have not.
So you get the one that you can't see because it doesn't have my tape on.
So it's not quite. It's about 2 1/4 down. All right, 2 1/4 inches. Yeah, so right about there. I'm close enough. Yeah, 2 1/4. So, but it isn't a straight line because there's some hills here. So we're going to, but when I'm painting a sky, I always like to go down a little bit lower because I can always cover the hills over it. Does that make sense? I'll go just slightly lower. And then here's where our lavender fields end, right here. And that's 3 3/4 inches up from the bottom, which would be this. And I was right. See right there. See? So right there. Yes, yes, and yes, you guys? So somewhere between the sky and the fields is the horizon line.
Whoa.
Because there's mountains in the way. So one way we can tell is if we look at the perspective on the house. Because what happens is that this line right here is going to go to the horizon line. This is going to go here like this. We're going to follow this line up from the bottom about like this, okay? Right about like yay. So up here like this. And this is coming down here about this. So our horizon line is just slightly below, our hills. Just not too far, but slightly. That second, just slightly in here somewhere is where our horizon line. This is going to be our horizon line right here. All right. And then, so then to determine where the vanishing point is for these, if we decided that, let's do a different colored piece of chalk. If we decided that this is where our horizon line is right about here. Okay. Okay. All right. So if we look at these, we look at these lavender points, it goes from this, your lavender goes to the vanishing point, which is where everything kind of vanishes off. And then these go this way. Do you see what I mean? These are going up this way a little bit. So I think we're right about here, and then this is going straight. So I think our vanishing points we're pretty close to this, wouldn't you say, John?
Yeah, you're real close.
We're just right, it's really actually right there where this vanishing point is. So it's the vanishing point's right about here, because this is where, and so our hills are going to get, now notice what happens. Look how wide this is. Look at the shape of this. It's like a little triangle, right? If it came all the way up to the horizon line, it would go up to nothing. But in this part of our lavender field, see that? It's, notice that it's wider at the bottom. See that? But as they get closer together, then on the sides, there's not this big space. On the sides, there's just barely anything, and these lines are doing this, and these lines over here are doing this, and everything is coming right about to there. Okay, we're saying right about to there is where everything's coming. So when we go to draw this in, so we've checked off a couple of things. We know that the horizon is where the sky meets the earth if there were no hills. So you kind of have to judge where that would be. And your vanishing point is where your perspective lines all line up to. Okay? And we're not going to talk about double vanishing points or any of that. But when you're talking about, when you're looking at this, you can't have you couldn't do this and then have some fields doing that. See what I mean?
You could, but it would look very good.
Well, it would look very odd. All right?
So don't do it.
So that's one of the things we can, and we'll talk about some other stuff that happens to your painting too, but that's the main thing that we're going to talk about right now. So let's talk before we get too much further about the colors we're going to use tonight. This is your natural color chart, and we hope that you've made one for yourself. You've been watching our show for a while. We're using cad yellow medium, cad yellow light, phthalo blue, dazzling purple, phthalo green rather, phthalo blue, dazzling purple, burnt umber. Probably we'll put out some burnt sand. I don't have it out yet. And ultramarine blue and yellow oxide.
Just some basic colors.
And magenta and cad red medium.
Okay, you pointed to rose. Magenta's on the upper left.
Oh yeah, magenta's up here, right? Upper left. Okay, magenta. And that's and cad red medium. Okay,
yes,
those are colors. Okay.
Excellent. So
now that we know that, we're going to start with our sky first, and we're going to make it just. We already have a photograph, so we don't need that anymore. We need to have something interesting. We need a painting here. We need something arty. We want to be imaginative. This is where people say, well, you know, I always tell you can't make stuff up. Well, you can make stuff up, but you make stuff within the perimeter of fact.
A reality.
For instance, for instance, if you are having an example, you're painting a car, so you'd want the car to, have to look reasonably like a car, all right? But it wouldn't, in the picture, your photograph, it was a yellow car, you could have a blue car. That'd be okay. That's where you use your imagination. Does that make sense? So you don't imagine just hand drawing a car from memory and hope for the best. But if you've been drawing cars your whole life, like a lot of women have been drawing horses their whole life, they probably can come up with a pretty decent horse. But most things we just tell you, don't use your imagination for that. Use references. Yes, that's really important. And use your imagination for other things, like how you're going to present it, what style you're going to paint it in. Are you going to paint an impressionistic style? Are you going to go for photorealism? What are you going to do? Today we're going to be more impressionistic. We're going to keep this simple so it's easy to follow. And we've covered enough stuff, I feel like, where when you do it, you'll have a winner on your hands, okay? That's what we're going for.
Chicken dinner.
All right, so I want my sky to be very light. So it's going to be 90%, 96% white and something else, all right? So one thing I can do is I can come down here like this and just take some white, and I'm going to make, like I say, I'm going to make my sky just a little bit lower than where the hills are actually going to be, because I can cover the hills, right? And one thing we notice is that skies tend to be lighter at the horizon. That's where they hit either the hills or the horizon line. The lower the sky gets, unless it's a storm, the lighter the color. Good to know, right? These are all facts. You should all be writing down what you need to know.
Is there going to be a test at the end of the night?
Yeah, there's going to be a test.
I knew it.
Okay, so I'm going to take like 1% phthalo blue, like that, right? And a little, like a drop of cad yellow light. Let's see if I can get a robin's egg blue here. See, there you go, right on top of that white. And I'm going to take some zinc white with me. And I'm just going to say, I'm going to lighten up the sky like this. Look at that. Okay. And I'm going to say, there's a little tiny bit of, let's see, do I have any water in that? No. Put a little tiny bit of water in my cup here. Right there, just a drop of water on there we go. So this a little bit smoother. Okay, so there's my sky. So far so good. I didn't want a big sky. I think it almost could have a little bit of magenta in it. So I'm going to take a little tiny bit of that, and I'm going to just add it in here to this already wet sky. Just give it a little pink cast in a couple places. Barely see it. Just people would have to say, look at your painting and say, is there some pink in that sky? I swear I see a little pink. That's how little do you want to see this. Guess? That's your magenta color. Okay, now we've determined, we talked about that. Now, what happens to colors as they recede? Well, do you see how bright this purple is and this green? Now look back here. How much more faded.
Just a little bit.
Look at here's the bright greens and the yellows, but look how faded they are. They come back. So your it gets
atmospheric perspective.
Atmospheric perspective means that it gets more out of focus and more faded colors. Okay, so how are we going to fade a color? I don't know. What do you think? How should we fade a color? So one thing we can do to fade a color is that we can add its complement and a little more white to it. So then we get down to what's a complement. It's, gee, Ginger, your hair looks great today. That's a compliment. Thank you very much for those of you who said that. But if you didn't say it, I'll take it anyway. But complementary colors are friends on the color wheel. They're opposite each other on the color wheel. They're like frenemies. When you mix them together, you get gray.
They're frenemies?
Frenemies.
Like that.
They're frenemies. So if you take orange and then you put a little dab of turquoise next to it, that's gorgeous. If you mix orange and turquoise together, you get gray. So a little bit, you could pick one or the other, all right? But that's another story. So we're going to go ahead and take some white, because we know we want that, and a little bit of yellow oxide. And I'm going to come in here like this. I'm going to do something a little different. We're going to mix colors on the canvas today. So I'm going to come up here with my hills. And I think just like that. Now I'm going to add a little bit of purple and ultramarine blue to that. Okay. There you go. And already what yellow and purple are complements, yes. So when I do that, I've got some hills in the distance, yes and yes. Do you say so? And I think I'll take a little phthalo blue, a tiny bit of cad red, come underneath that, a little bit of phthalo blue, just like what's on the head of a pin kind of thing. And I'm going to take a little bit of that color. Say that's this. All right, so I'm going to say those are those distant hills. In other words, we're not talking too much about the hills. We may add some other colors. Now I want to bring another color forward that's a little brighter than that, all right? So what could I do? Probably could dry that, or we could play with more. We could play with another part of the canvas while that's drying, you think? So let's talk about the front part of this. I've got a good gold background, but I know in the front, I'm going to take some yellow oxide and cad yellow light. And where's my burnt sienna? I knew I needed that. Didn't put it out. Where'd I put it? We go through this all the time, don't we?
Every day.
Burnt sienna. What's that? I just had this. We've been painting all week, so I have all this stuff. Any questions I can answer when I go through my mad search for my missing colors?
Yeah. Where's the burnt sienna?
Yeah, other than that, I give up. Where's the burnt sienna?
It's in this room.
What? Somewhere in this room is a burnt sienna. Am I getting warmer? Am I getting closer? Am I getting colder? Oh, my goodness. Oh, it's buried under towels. Oh, that would do it. There it is. It was under a white towel. I was closer. All right. So I'm going to take a little burnt sienna with that. And, all right, so now I'm going to do a little bit more cad yellow light. Okay. And I'm going to come, I know I need to come down about this far with this color. A little bit more cad yellow light. There you go. Down about here, we're just going to give this a coat of paint. Never hurts to have a couple coats of paint. Yeah?
Well, at least.
There you go. See, just a little bit of that. There you go. There's that. Now, well, that's, and then, so we've got this other area to play with here, too. Let's come back a little. Here's, I want to just take that cad yellow light and just tap that on here like this. See what I'm doing? Just a little bit of yellow light. Just tap it. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. Just tap it. There it goes. So I've got that a little bit lighter down there. Now I'm going to take some phthalo green and burnt sienna and yellow. And I'm going to come over here like this. And I'm going to make this next layer of hills. Let's put a little phthalo blue with it. And a little bit of cad yellow medium. Let's see, a little bit of burnt umber or burnt sienna. A little bit of zinc white. We'll see a little phthalo green. Okay, so now I'm going to wipe all that paint off the brush and just deal with this part. Okay, let's say just deal with this part. Okay, I'm going to say that that's my other hills. Okay, and maybe I'll take a little burnt sienna and say, there's this, let's see, ooh, burnt sienna and zinc white. Let's do that. We'll just tap some of that in there like that. Take a little bit of, there you go, like something like that. We don't have to do much. We're just saying that those hills are in front of these hills. And you can see that they look like they're in front too, don't they? Maybe we'll have this one even come up a little more like that on the green side. A little yellow oxide. There we go. Yes, yes, and yes.
This is a good looking hill.
Nice looking hill, different colors. Okay. So that's this layer. And that's kind of cool, right? You've got to admit that's easy, yes? So I'm going to need to dry fairly soon, John, but let's see what I can do without it. So be prepared to
That's all right.
do a show and tell.
I got something I can entertain the fans with.
Do you? All right. So I'm going to put a little bit of this lighter yellow, but that's too bright. So I'll wipe that off. I need a little bit of lighter yellow in here. Just put a little bit of magenta with that yellow. A little something in here like that. A little bit lighter. There you go. Just tap that in there before it gets too crazy. All right. Now, the idea is don't overwork it. Do a little bit and then just stop. I see a lot of times that people kind of overwork their painting. They get a hold of one of these little blending brushes like this, which are nice. They're good, but you can overwork a painting, a large painting with a little brush like this. They were never designed to do giant paintings. They're designed to do little spots of places where you need to blend colors. All right, so let's try that while John shows you something cool.
Oh, we're gonna do it right now.
Yeah, didn't I just say? You heard me, right?
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me just show you the. Well,
wait. Are you going to show something, or
you're going to get ready? But obviously you weren't ready, so I thought I would.
Well, I am ready now.
Okay, good. Good.
But if you want to show something.
Well, I just thought people would like to know what the bird drawings are tonight. What we draw for this time, because we do for something. We mailed off the one, you know. We've got a couple of fun limited edition prints.
Could you line it up in the window I give you?
Yeah, here, the bird hop here.
Oh, I like that guy. That's a little chubby guy.
This guy, and then we got one going this way. They look kind of cute together, yes and yes. So we have some, we'll be drawing for those. And remember, even if you already purchased the bird hop, these are lovely, holidays are coming up sooner than you think. Christmas is almost here. I mean, it sounds like it isn't, but trust me, the older you get, the faster months go by. So anyway, these would be a good gift. So we have those two.
That's the two we're doing tonight.
Yeah, and those are the two we're doing tonight, okay? All right, I'm going to dry this like John shows you stuff.
Okay, well, the boss is away. As many of you know, right now we have a challenge on for a self-portrait like we did of Gauguin. We have extended it. It was supposed to end today, but we've had so many entries that we decided to extend it through Friday. So if you have not seen it, now's your opportunity. You have till Friday at 11:59 p.m. Central Time to get an entry. You will use the Contact Us form right here when you're ready to send yours in. Here's a sampling that's on the website right now. If you go under Blog, Challenge Artist Showcase Archive, and then select the Gauguin Self-Portrait, you'll come up with these guys. And here's some of the ones that we've had received so far. And they keep coming in. Well, we've had a couple come in today, and like I said, we've extended it through Friday. So yes. I wanted to share that with you if you didn't read the Gazette, which you should have read.
All right. Am I sound back on?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Well, and that's the thing. You know, these were so clever, so charming, so marvelous, and people really had to think about who they were in relation to just symbolism. If I was going to self-portrait of symbolism. And if you haven't seen our Gauguin self-portrait that Gauguin did that inspired that, we encourage you to go back and look at that. Watch the video before you try yours, okay? So you understand what we're talking about. All right, so we've got this is dry now, and I know that I've got a tree that's going to come up, well, kind of like it's gonna here we have a tree that's going to be over here, like kind of about this far over, like that. There's a tree, and then at the top there's the top of my roof here, like this, for my house, and it comes down just a little bit like that. There's the roof of the house, goes back in here a little bit. You don't see I guess the tree, if you really look at the picture, is in front of it, and here's our house, and this angle is up like this, going toward a horizon line that's up here. This angle's going down like this, and we don't see this side of the roof. It's going to be orange, but we really don't see it. And here's this side of the house, and then we've got our starting right about here. We have our first lavender, and it doesn't. Now look at I want you to see the direction these go. It goes from here to here to here, and then over here, and then back here, and then you don't see this one comes all the way to the edge of the table. All right, so you've got. Let me just look at my picture here so I have it right. Here's our vanishing point there. So this is not coming at that angle at all. This is almost looking straight at you like this, doing that. And then this one's doing that. And this one's doing that. And then you've got lines like this. And the same thing over here. You've got this doing that. Okay?
And they're all in that same angle.
And they're all going to this vanishing point that's back over here somewhere, all right? But they don't end at a point. They almost, they kind of just end here. So that's basically what we're painting in, all right? So, I mean, it helps to see those things, right? To see what you're doing. Now, one thing I want to say, do you guys know the difference between, if you've ever seen a lavender field in person? So we've got this big one here, and then there's this one's a little longer, okay? Is that they're different than they're totally different than a vineyard that goes, because even though they're all planted in rows, they're totally different. Lavender is more round, roly-poly, like a bale of hay, one of those round bales of hay, they grow like that.
I always think of them as caterpillars.
Yeah, where vineyards are they're like unruly bushes that just keep getting smaller. So if you make a vineyard like a tunnel, of kind of a round tunnel, like Edward Scissorhands cropped it all up. That wouldn't be correct, but you do that with the lavender fields, okay? So that's the you do that with the lavender, okay? And I think I got this a little bit too far over here as I draw it. I don't want that much of a space between there and there, okay? Okay, there we are. So the first thing we're going to do is take a little brush and let's take some white paint. Let's put our house in.
Hey, we'd like to thank Mona for the donation that came in through PayPal. Thank you, Miss Mona. And she writes, if I move my mouse here around, just wanted to show my appreciation for all the two of you are doing. Love you both. Thank you, Miss Mona.
Oh, Mona, thank you so much. That is awesomely nice. Thank you. So this side of the house is not as white. It's in shadow, so this is the edge of the house right here. So we're going to just say, here's our house here, the edge here, okay? And then the roof is going to come up. Let's make the roof kind of yellow oxide. That's easy to remember. So we got the roof coming this way, and it's doing this, and then yellow and magenta make a very nice orange, mostly yellow with a little magenta. Okay, and so we're going to say there's our orange part of the roof right here. And then here's this one is doing this. So, and again, there's going to be a little bit of a tree here, but I want to take a little bit of a darker color right here to be under here, under the eaves of my roof here. Let's even bring it down a little bit into the white. Let's just make a little bit of a shadow here. Okay, so we've got our house. That was easy, right? And then, you know, there's a color that everybody knows I just love, so I don't know why I don't put it out all the time. It's my new favorite color.
New favorite?
Well, it's that, it's that cadmium orange. And I just love cadmium orange. Cad red light's good too. And you can make a good orange without it, but if I could see it easily, I'd grab it. All right, so I want to say that I've got some orange bushes right back in here like this. Okay, and I want some maybe over here. And got a little bit of that orange here on this roof. Okay, and yeah, we got a little bit of cad yellow light. There's another little bush here. Something back in here, and I'm going to say something kind of light right here. Something kind of light right here on the edge of our field. Okay. And, oh, there's some pink I want to put in too. I want some colors in this, right? So I'm going to suggest that there's just even a little bit of peach somewhere in this landscape I didn't have before. And you're going, why on earth she comes up with this stuff? We don't know. That's all right. All right, so I've got a little bit of color in the landscape, and even a little bit of something a little bit lighter back here that maybe you might, we're going to draw your eye back. Okay, there's something back there. So we'll just play with that a little bit, okay? And, ooh, something a little bit lighter over here too. The zinc white is one of those colors that you can use to bring, it'll lighten the color without turning it chalky, okay? So if you ever want to brighten something up, because remember, the closer the colors come, the brighter they get. Now you'll notice what I'm grabbing is a little of that cad yellow light and a little bit of the making it like a lighter green right in here, okay? So we've got some pretty colors even though we haven't done anything. So the first thing I want to do is just put in, I'm going to put in a tree that's going to start right here and go up to about there. And it's one of those kind of trees. They use those a lot, and to plant those a lot. And farmers do that because if they go to a cone, they become a windbreak. So we want an olive green. So we're going to talk ultramarine blue and yellow oxide. Okay, those are our two colors for an olive green. Maybe a bit of magenta. Okay, yellow oxide, more ultramarine blue. Okay, let's make this a little greener. Let's try some yellow. Okay, yellow medium, a little bit more blue. All right, so I'm going to say that right up here, say about 3 fingers over, starting about here, is my first tree. See, about 3 fingers over. And what I know about this tree...
You're going to cover up your orange bush.
Well, if I do, I'll put another one. I'm going to use just the corner of my brush, and I'm going to make this sort of a bushy tree. I want a little cad red with that, a little more blue. I want this pretty dark. Okay, and I'm going to say that this is my dark green tree, like this. And it's way up there like that, and you barely want to see it on the outside. Just barely want to see that. You just come in here like that and bring the you can bring the boughs down to about like yay, and we'll play with this a little bit. Then there's another little one. It's not quite so perfect if you look at it. Nobody's trimmed this one, but there's another little bush right next to it. And then we'll give it a little stump right like that. And then we've got a third tree, same color, going next to it, not quite so high, but over the mountains. You got to make sure it's over the mountains.
And through the woods.
Yeah. We got it, and it kind of comes down in almost like a pine cone shape, isn't it? Kind of a narrow one of those narrow pine cone shapes.
Yes.
Kind of wider, and then it goes down here to it, something like that. Yeah. And then we got a little bit of some dark along here. I think I got that too low, but we can fix that. And then we've got a little bit of a dark bush up here like that. It's coming down like that. And then we got another little bush. Doesn't go up that tall. It's they're all kind of different. Like people, there's just no two alike here. Okay, and then we're saying that next to the house, we've got some little bushes. Now, see how we pushed the background back, didn't we? And brought the rest of this forward. Now, let's see, that's a little flat area here. Let's fix that. Okay. So I'm going to let that dry. If I were painting this and you and I weren't talking, I would just dry that with the hairdryer right now and keep going. But since you and I are talking, having this conversation, I don't want to interrupt it with some interruptions of hairdryers right this second, when I can still figure out to do something else, yes? So what do I know for sure here? I want a little bit of phthalo green and zinc white.
I've been watching Ginger and John for almost a decade from Germany.
Yeah?
Marie.
Oh, wow.
Okay, have we been on that? If we've been on that long, we should have been at 100,000 by now. So if you haven't subscribed, come on, people. Give the old farts a break.
A little bit of magenta with that, but still light. Okay, so let's just do something light right here. A little bit of lighter green. Something light here. Back between I want to make this, I'm going to just kind of erase that right there. Bring it in. Okay, there. Okay, we erased that one. Yeah, that would be a nice thing to do. Subscribing is always, it's nice. It's nice for us and it's nice for you. And if you haven't, if you enjoy what we do, we have a free Facebook club, and you can see from the Facebook club what people are getting out of these tutorials, both in our academy and on the website. you know, on YouTube and in the Academy. You can see what there's so much knowledge that's being shared here, and it's so fun to see what people do. And then we have I have a Pinterest board, gingercooklive, which is Pinterest, all one word. And I go back like 6 years with student artwork. You can go back, and if you recognize some of the names of where people started, like for instance, Andrew's here. Hi, Andrew. If you go back and see what Andrew was painting when he first started, and now he's a really wonderful master artist. There's a bunch of you that have made just huge progress, even in and it's extraordinary, and it's really fun. So we would encourage all those things besides subscribing. So that'd be nice. All right, so you saw where I got something light here. I'm going to do another little, ooh, look at that. I didn't even know I did that. Okay, so what do you do when you do something like that? Well, when in doubt, take some white and kind of pretend like it was intentional. There you go. There you go, White House. All right, like that. There you go. And let's see, let's do a little bit more of the greens. Here's this house right here. And I want to just come up here on my roof. We don't have to do much. It's fun to play with color. I just want you to think about that. You know, it's really fun to play with color. Here's a little bit of a chimney. We'll put it right there. Too big. And here's some dark brown because we dried this. This dark brown ledge here. Okay. And I think let's see. Let's do let's do some windows real quick. We'll just do sort of yellow oxide and white. We'll do some windows here. 1, 2, 3. Maybe just a little bit there, just a little bit of burnt sienna next to it. Then up here, let's do a window up at the top, maybe a couple, 3. And let's make those phthalo green. So let's take a little phthalo green and white, a little tiny brush here like that. Yeah. All right. So already we have, you know, we got our little house in the background. That didn't take long, right? I really want that orange. Where on earth did my orange go? Well, here's one, cadmium orange. I found something.
You found it?
Yeah,
oh,
cadmium
good.
orange, because I really wanted that orange. So I want to take a little bit of that color and just kind of brighten up something behind the bush, just in a couple places. You know, just sneak that in there with a little brush. Just a little dab. What did they say that? A little dab will do you? I think that was Brill Cream, though, right? Remember that? We were laughing about all those commercials, we remember, the other day.
Oh, I love those.
Yeah.
Plop, plop, fizz, fizz. That's a good one.
That was a good one. Now I think I want a little bit of like a yellow oxide color and ultramarine blue. And let's just do a kind of a moss green color here, maybe a little phthalo with it. Okay. Then I'll wipe off the paint, and then I'm going to come up here like this, and I'm going to suggest that there's some light on the left side of these trees. Not too much, just suggest that. There you go. There. So we did that. So they're not just all one color. All right. I think we can go ahead and put on the next tree. Let's take some ultramarine blue and phthalo green.
Can you show the photo again? My brain isn't understanding the roof. Oh, I haven't thrown the photo up on our site.
Look.
There it is. That's what it looks like. Memorize it. You'll be tested.
All right. So I want to come up here like this.
And that's going to cover half her house.
And I'm going to just come up here using this angle brush. And I'll leave some of that roof peeking through. And there's this tree.
Let's see here.
Let's get this a little darker here. Maybe put a little purple in it. Let's just darken this right like in here like that. Okay, so there's this tree on that side. Kind of the house is sort of tucked into this little area here. And I think there was oh, look, there was another little house right here. We should put it in, don't you think? Because it's so cute. There's another little house right here.
Oh, absolutely.
Kind of a
Is
little,
that like the outhouse?
well, a little shed, you know what I mean? That you need to be able to store your stuff, right? This is still wet, but I think we can put it in and then we'll come back and give it another coat of paint. Then that way, just remind yourself, don't forget this. Right, there's another little shed right there. All right, so that's our fun little house. And then I want to put some magenta and orange back in here like this. Some brighter colors here too. Okay, so there, just something to give it a little oomph. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start again with the foreground and some of this moss green color, and I'm going to tap in front of my house some colors like in here. Here's some moss green. Here's a little bit of the phthalo green here. Tap that in. Maybe a little bit of Dawsony. Well, let's do a purple with magenta and blue. Put a little bit of purple something in here. A little bit of white with that. Can we get away with that without drawing? There you go, a little bit of purple. Yes and yes. A little bit of purple back here. I just like some, maybe there's like a bush that's a little lighter. Okay, so we got that. Now, to get the rest of it, let's start with, I want to do, okay, so what we're going to do last, we're going to do the lavender last. We're just going to do the field now. We're going to do the lavender last. Yes and yes?
No, that makes sense.
So I'm going to rinse the brush, and I can talk about what I know for sure. I know that for instance, from this, that I want something much lighter up in here. Maybe a little phthalo green, a little bit of orange, a little bit more yellow, a little bit of orange. I'm going to tap this in here like that. Okay, and as I come off to my right, I'm going to go do a little bit lighter, just tapping it in here. So I'm making a little texture just by tapping that. See what I'm doing?
I like that. Let's get a close-up of that action.
It's a nice effect, isn't it? So, so like I say, when I come this way, and then when I get over to here, I'm going to tap in some sort of brighter greens, which would be phthalo blue and phthalo green and yellow.
And you're still using your angle.
Still using the angle, and I'm going to tap in.
The one brush that does it all.
Yeah, it's the one brush. Pretty much is the brush that pretty much does it all. And bring some of that color down into here. And maybe a little bit into here, but not much. I don't want it's too much. Just kind of scrape that out, okay? And then I'm going to rinse the brush, get all that color off, and then just do a little bit of white, yellow oxide. And the reason you want the cad yellow light, okay? So we're going to say that this is going to be the field here like that. So we're just going to come across like that and make room for our lavender, right?
That's the row between them?
That's the row between them, okay? That's the row between them. So you just really see...
You know, making your furrows in the field and all, Arizona has a question. Would a hog be a good option for this? I think a hog would really do a good job of burrowing through all that field for you.
Yeah.
You know, they put a little snout down and go through it.
Well, no, but she's asking a serious question here, John, and I think she's right. I think a hog would be good. Hog brush. Try it. Use a piece of paper. You know, do a little tiny piece of canvas and see what you get, right? I want some green here, and I want some of this light yellow green.
Okay, we'd like to thank Anna Maria for the donation that came in through PayPal. Thank you, Miss Anna Marie.
Oh, yes. Thank you very much. And, Anna Marie, I always appreciate the fact that you have been, over the years, you've been such a great supporter of our channel. And we thank you very much. And us, John and I.
You've been with us for quite a while, too.
And we appreciate it very much. And, just didn't want you to think we never did, because we absolutely do. Okay. All right, so see how we've added some more bushes back here. Now, on the positive side, on the left-hand side, what I need to do is do just a couple more rows. Like, for instance, there's a row right here. There's this one, and there's kind of a starting of a row of this, and then we need to dry it.
Oh, Bella's saying, I would love to paint this beautiful landscape of lavenders, but it seems really very difficult.
Well, I know. That's why we're making it very simple. So,
Bella, I think you should try it and, get it started and send it in for personal art coaching.
Yeah, take advantage of it. That's why you pay me the big bucks, Bella.
Don't do the whole painting. Get to a certain point with it and just say, hey, Ginger, how am I doing?
Try to practice some of these brush strokes, yes?
There's a lot of dabbing in this.
It's mostly dabbing.
It's a dab painting.
Dabbing and drawing, right? Okay, so mostly dabbing and drawing. But you see, already we're doing pretty good, yes, with this. And just before I dry it, I'm going to do a little bit of this. A little bit of this blue-green color. This is kind of which came first, the chicken or the egg kind of painting. Where do you start with the colors? When do you stop? For instance, I want something kind of light in here, so I can tap this cad yellow light. This is a key color here over some of this. See? And I've got a really nice, I want something kind of light up here too, by my house. Yeah? Yes and yes? Now, one thing you can do, you may not know this, but one thing you can do is you can take a small brush and some zinc white, and you can come along here between this and this area here, right? And then wipe it off and make little tiny, little smoke signals. And you can distance these hills even further.
Let's push them back further.
Push them back even further. And if you want to push something like that back, you can say you wanted to do a differentiation between, say, this hill and that one. You take a tiny bit of zinc white, like hardly any, dry brush, no water, and just suggest that there's some mist. And see how, look at the depth that we've created. We've did a whole nother layer of depth just by doing that. Following the rule, the farther things are away from you, the more out of focus they get, yes? And then one thing I think I want to do here is come back here with the white paint. And see, that's dried enough. Now I can do that and do our house. So you kind of brighten up the house a little bit, okay? So those are fun things to do. Well, not that all of it isn't just wildly fun, but that's it.
Wildly fun.
Wildly fun, right?
Absolutely. Wildly coyote.
Wildly coyote, right? And let's see, do we have something kind of dark in here? I would have liked this to be a bit lighter, so I'm going to take some. That was a little dark when I did it. So I'm going to take some, just some magenta and white and tap in a flower bush here. Because I think there could be one, right? Why not? Right? Why not, you guys? Why not? Let's just get something a little brighter in a couple of places. Yes and yes. Okay? All right. So, now, I'm going to dry it one more time.
Oh, wait. Instead of that...
We've been warning him, haven't we? I mean...
But you have things to show.
Oh, yeah. What do I have to show? Oh, yeah.
What we did last week, what we're doing this week. and we can
You're
mention
right.
what we're doing
I've
next
got
week.
things to show. You're absolutely right.
This week is Lake Como. Oh, next week is Hat in the Grass.
It's what?
Hat in the Grass. I know you wanted to call it
Yeah,
something
but
else.
wasn't that the, okay, so you'll have to get it.
I'll have to get it, but let me back it out so you can show what you want to show.
Okay. So for those of you who are new to our channel, we have an Academy of Fine Art acrylic painting, which involves personal art coaching, and
Which offers.
offers it, you know, where you can get some consultation from me. And, you know, we release landscapes, pet portraits, still lifes, all kinds of, every week there's something different. And last week we released a painting called Rowboat in Norway. It really was Kim Carr, one of our members and friends. I got to go to Norway this year, and she took a photograph and sent it to me, and this was my interpretation of her photograph, and we'll show you, you know, how to take a photograph, still use your imagination, but keep it true. And what was really stunning about her photograph is the reflection, and I think in the water, I think we caught that. This is a really, really neat picture. But keep in mind, we have over 500 videos, step-by-step videos in our academy, lots of beginner lessons, not just the advanced ones. And then I ran across this photo not long ago, and I thought this would make a absolutely marvelous painting. This is like I think it's like a 2-cookie lesson. It's a straw hat in the grass in the lavender. Since we're doing lavender, yes, that will be released next week. All right, that's subject to release, and we think that will be, if you did our chair in this type of lavender, the one with the chair and the books, a lot of you painted that. We think you will enjoy painting this one too. This is a good lesson on just a little bit of blending and thick and thin lines when you're painting, all that kind of stuff, which is really good. So I think this is one that should catch your eye a little bit. Maybe this will be a fun one to paint. And then
For this week.
And then coming in the future, you know when, John?
What?
This one?
That's this week.
This one is this week?
Yeah, the hat's next week. That's what you said. You said it right.
Well, we did Kim's, which was last week, and
Kim was last week. This is this week, and then the
hat
is next week.
Following week. So this is what's coming now. This is a box of cookies, but this is Lake Como.
This is a box of cookies, a glass of milk.
This takes a while. It's really
9 hours.
But you've been asking. It took me about 9 hours to paint it. You've been asking for more street scenes and perspective and stuff like that. And again, and this is what we discussed, can you kind of see where the horizon line has to be, even though there are mountains in the picture? Because now you know that stuff, right? Because I just told you about it earlier today. So that's something.
In regards to this lesson, there's an introduction that you should watch before. And the question I've asked today was, do you watch our introductions? And I'm happy to say that over 90% of you do watch the introduction, because it's a must and watch. Because a lot of information is in there. They're usually under 2 minutes, and it gives you a clue as to some of the changes and challenges that Ginger had doing a painting.
Yeah, the introductions are really important, and we're starting to put in more information in them. And even though they're on the website, when you click on the lesson, you can either get it as a downloadable where you don't have to be a member, you can just buy the lesson and it comes with an introduction. Then we have the tab that says introduction, and then we have the lesson. And the introduction, for whatever reason, it's a mystery to me, John said, it's not connected to the lesson. I want him in the future to connect it to the lesson too.
Well, that's why I did the survey to find out if it's really necessary, and over 90% of the people are watching introductions.
Oh, good, because the introduction really tells you stuff.
They've probably been burned a couple of times where you made a major change.
Well, so anyway, because I never know. The thing is, when I start these paintings, I don't know what they're going to turn out like, and the introduction is done after I finish. So if I had to go back and fix something or use a different color, that's where I tell you. So we want to make sure you're watching the introductions. Kind of like today, I haven't painted this before, all right? All right, that was a good thing. It's probably dry enough here. This is a little tacky, but it'll probably be all right. So I want to go ahead and I'm going to take some zinc white and dazzling purple. Okay, that is a true purple here, and I want to come on up here like this, and I'm going to. This is where we're going to end this. And here's my. And I'm tapping it. Do you see how I'm just sort of tapping this in here so it has a little texture like that? And
well, that's a good question.
What question? We got a question? I like questions.
No, it's a guy in Arizona, man. I watched the entire set of videos before I start painting.
Well, that's good that you do that, because again, we leave if I make a big boo-boo, we leave that in. We don't just
make a big baby boo-boo.
Even a baby boo-boo. We leave it in because
You'll make a boo-boo.
How do you fix it? Somebody does that. How do you fix it? That I used to, when you watch, people on TV that, are cooking or something, and, their pie never goes flat or their souffle is always perfect. And you're wondering, was there a time in that where how many times did they film that to get it right? You just see the final thing. And we go start to finish, and we don't beat around the bush. I mean, if I see, I will go back afterwards. There actually is a couple of pictures I've gone back afterwards and done a supplemental on, because
you changed your mind.
I changed my mind, or I didn't like something, or I missed something, or I forgot something, or stuff happens, man.
Or somebody sending it in for a personal art coach, and she goes, "Huh, I did that too.
Yeah,
it needs to be fixed."
And I'll see the mistake in yours, going, "Well, I got to fix that too," and tell everybody else, or whatever. It doesn't have to happen, but it can happen. Okay, it can happen.
Goldie says, "I always watch it all the way through before starting. No surprises that way."
So I'm just using zinc white and dazzling purple. These are coming all the way to the end here. And you'll notice I keep getting paint. I think that's kind of key too. I keep getting paint. Now I'm going to get a little bit of magenta and white and start adding that to vary my purples. And create my rose. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but this can be really a lot of fun. There's all these colors in this, these lavenders. They're not just, just one color. And if you ever get a chance to go to France, Cinnamon and I were lucky. About 20 years ago, we took a painting journey to France, and what we loved about it was the fact that Cinnamon was our navigator, and we just drove all over looking for lavender and sunflowers and poppies and all kinds of stuff. Okay, we kind of were a little late for the wrong time of year for the sunflowers, but we hit the poppies and the lavender. And the French call it lavande. And they feel like there's
lavande.
Well, they feel like their lavender is just a little bit the superior quality to anywhere else. It only grows at a particularly high altitude. Has to be at a certain time. It grows at a certain altitude, and their feeling is about it. I'm not saying they're wrong. That just saying that's their feeling about it is that that their lavender or their lawn is slightly superior to others. Here's a little phthalo blue back up in here too. To change the color a little bit here as we go back. get a little bit, we're changing colors now. We're going to get a little bit of this magenta. Okay, that's their feeling about it. So, and it's used not just in perfumes and stuff, but for medicinal purposes. And they take this, I mean, they're very serious about it. And you want to insult somebody from France that knows about lavender, suggest that, oh, it just grows everywhere, it's all just fine. So they grow it in Texas. And I've had lavender jam before. It was interesting.
Have you had lavender iced tea?
Yeah, I think so, John.
Have you had lavender lemonade?
No.
That's good.
I've not
had a twig or two of lavender in your glass. Just gives that little extra touch.
All right, so we're kind of alternating kind of phthalo blues and some colors in these because they're all kind of we're not really showing the rose on this one. We're just suggesting that there's our lavender field here. As it comes out, then we start showing other stuff. But right now we're just doing that. And there you go. And let's see, I think I needed to get that closer. So we're not done yet. That's just, I have to dry this in order to finish it. So you're going to have to give me a chance to dry this, John. Find something else to entertain people with. Okay? Just, I mean, sometimes that's the one thing I tell everybody, because remember, purple and yellow are complements. So if you start adding yellows and purples together, you're going to get mud. So if you're not drying at some point, you're going to wish you had. How's that? Yes and yes?
Okay. Hold on a second. If you're ready to dry, hold on a second.
Yeah, it's all right. I'll just come back a little bit with this.
Just 1 second. Take him over to the auction site. I can do that.
Okay. Bring that back a little further. Yeah, ready?
1 moment. I got to move myself over. I'm over, and you're silent.
Okay.
Okay, as many of you know, we have an auction going on right now for Ginger Cook's original paintings. If you've never seen one of her original paintings in person, it's something that's tough to beat. Because there's a big difference between in person and what I can show you through a camera. The website is gingercookauction.com. I don't think it says it anywhere. Up here on the very top is the address bar. gingercookauction.com. It runs through, I think, August 9th. If you look at some of the paintings, you can see some of them currently have bids. Some do not have a bid yet. They'll say starting bid or current bid. If we go into a painting, this has got a current bid. You move your mouse over, you can see a close-up of it. It has 8 days, 2 hours. It has a little timer on it, so you know exactly when it's going to end. It's all based on Central Time. You can bid through this list here, or you can enter a bid of your own. Let's say you're willing to spend $200 on it. That becomes what we call the robotic bidder. It will bid for you up to that point in the increments that was set. I don't know what this one's set for. It looks like 55 cents between bids. So that's how you get it to do an automatic bidding for you. If there's a maximum amount you want to put in, that's how you would do that, and it would just bid for you. You can see the current activity on something by going to the bids, and that shows you what's going on. You can tell this person has an auto, so you don't know what their maximum is, but that means they have an auto. So if you want it, you have to keep going for it. So again, if you have any questions, please use the Contact Us form. If you have problems accessing the website, because it's a secured website, and when we go live on this website, it gets a lot of attacks, so we have a lot of things in place to block all the improper activity. So if you have any issues, use the Contact Us either on this site if you can get to it, or on our regular acrylicpaintingwithgingercook.com website. And back to the Queen.
Okay. So you got my sound back on?
Maybe.
Okay, sound on. All right, so I've got a cat's tongue brush now. And now that it's dried a little bit, I want to do my lavender. a little bit brighter. You see the difference? Because it's dry.
Oh, we had a question. I'm not sure when this came in. Chris is asking why phthalo blue and not ultramarine blue.
For what?
I'm not sure.
Well,
What blue did you
I'm
use over
using
there?
a combination of phthalo blue and ultramarine blue. It's a
The
sort
one
of,
that the right side is a little bit
yeah, it's
bluer?
got a little bit. I want a little combination of both of those.
Okay.
Right. I'm using the cat's tongue because I don't want a line. I want it to seem a little fuzzier and out of focus, right? And I want the right side to seem very out of focus and not talked about that much. We're just going to focus in on this side. And again, we've got the and here's some zinc white and some phthalo blue. Just remember, I'm going for a painting of, so this is zinc white and phthalo blue, just a little bit lighter here on this side. Maybe just come off this way like that and not talk about it that much. It's a little bit brighter. Now I want a little bit of phthalo blue and ultramarine blue and zinc white. I want some come down here on the top of this, maybe a little bit more. Just put in that kind of that blue edge over the purple.
That's a great combination of colors.
It's a great combination of colors, isn't it? Because this is just, everybody wants to just make it one color, and it just isn't. Okay? It just isn't just the one color. And see, I want a little bit of green in here.
One more thing I forgot to mention on the auction site. If you are a member of the Academy, it's a totally different login for the auction site. They're not tied together. You have your own account. It's a whole separate account, so be prepared for that. You don't automatically have a login on that site.
So here's some greens in here like this. So what we're doing here, we're putting in some very light green here.
No, we haven't had a drawing yet. We should do one of those.
Oh yeah, we got to have a drawing. You can have a drawing next while I dry this.
Let me get my counts and amounts.
Final colors on here, right?
Okay, we've only got 96 entries.
96 really for the limited edition prints,
Yeah.
really? Well, lucky them. They got a better chance of winning then.
We got 376 people, only 96 people won. Oh, you guys have got a good odds on this one. We're going to go to random.org and put in our magic numbers up to 96.
Okay.
And well, look at there. Number 95 is a lucky winner. Find my spreadsheet again. Where'd it go?
I want to get my house better here. Make sure that this is, again, the white as it kind of disappeared on me.
We didn't say which birdie I was drawing for first there, boss. Could you pull one out so I know which one I'm giving her?
Yeah. You're the one, this one.
That's the little guy looking left, looking right.
Looking right, okay? I won that one.
Okay.
And who is that?
Nina Pearson.
Wow, that's a pretty lucky.
And her name didn't copy. There we go. It's official now.
Notice I'm putting a little bit of orange here to indicate a separation.
Show a little bit more of the feel between you. That just came up from Lily. So what I see is the lavender does not flop over the rose. No, you have a walking space between them.
Yeah.
You can see on the picture right there in front of you there. Right in the picture, you can see the rose. As they go further out to the left or right, you're not going to see that because they're very skinny rows. So Nina, do use the contact us and send me your mailing address, please. And thank you.
Do we have any more mods? Are there any more mods come that we need to say hi to, John?
I think the Quebec office came in.
Hi, Lynn. Thank you for coming.
Yep. The Quebec office has shown up. See, a little late beginning. Thank you, Miss Lynn, for being a part of the crew.
Now, ultramarine blue and magenta make a beautiful purple too. It's not as bright as, and it doesn't have a glare on it. For instance, sometimes you'll notice that ultramarine blue, or rather dazzling purple, has a bit of a glare on it. All right. So you'll see that, and you'll say, well, what happened there? I'm just putting some lights and darks on places. And
now, when you varnish it, it'll match the rest of the painting and doesn't stand out on its own as a glare.
But it does when you're trying to photograph it or something.
Yeah, if you're trying to do something before you varnished it, it can be irritating.
Well, one trick is to just take it outside in the sun, and maybe in the shade. Just find a shady spot to take your picture. That's another one that's pretty good. You can do that. Okay, so there's our lab. See, you see how it sort of just all sort of come into life. It doesn't have to be, it's what we can do. And see, we started at 5:30, 6:46, a little over an hour and a half, right?
Well, we could tell you exactly how long you've been on the air. 1 hour and 17 minutes.
To see how I can put in a few little colors here. A little bit of that orange color, I like it a lot. And maybe a little bit of rust color, a little bit of red. I think probably yellow and orange are better.
Lily's watching on the phone. Well, Lily, you people drive me nuts doing that. You know that.
So I think stuff like this is neat.
So yes, it would be hard to see that. Are you at least watching it horizontally?
You see how just the funnest little bits of stuff can happen here in a painting. Just there you go. See what I'm doing? Just kind of bringing out some lights and darks back in here. And can you real quick, John, grab one of those blue frames?
I can. PGA would like to know, what is the reddish band at the top of the house? I missed what that was.
That's the shadow from the roof.
Yep. That's the color that the artist decided to incorporate.
And then what you can do on that, PJ, is that you can, it's really supposed to be very soft. So if you get a little bit too much, you can put it over, but really this is the color we want here. It's sort of this light, it's like a light shadow. And that's, let We want to make sure that we have our house like this. And you want it like this dark area here. And then I wanted some lighter greens up in here on our tree too. Just put some greens up in here where the light might be catching it. And then maybe have something dark down here. And these are all, I mean, this is subjective, but this is where you can see from the photo, there's a little bit of light around here. How much light? You know, I mean, there's some light. And would there be something dark in front of the this little house here? Okay, that's in the background there. And did I get the roof too? And do I need to make the roof smaller? There you go, like that. So that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So for the most part, though, I would say that even with just using a little brush like this, I wanted to keep this as simple as possible. And you know me, I'll just keep playing on it because the weeds are sort of grown over here, and we're looking for some bright. Want a few little more bright greens here. That kind of brighter green up in here. Just put some greens in front of that orange. But that is I think it's
we're
cute.
framing it.
I think it looks pretty cute like that, but I don't know. Maybe the blue one. What do you think?
Well, that's why I brought them both over. I couldn't tell. Ooh, that looks good too.
The blue
That's a little more subtle.
Yeah, the blue one's more subtle. And you know, we could spend a little longer on something like this. Absolutely. Could we spend another hour on it?
Well, go ahead and keep playing with it. We're going to have another drawing because we've got a couple more entrees.
All right. Well, why don't I do that as I rest my hand on the frame?
Yeah. So that way
keep going with it and show you what we're talking about. Just where, you know, you can I think in this case we brought the whoops, I'm going to just move this frame. We brought the if I look at this and just kind of round out the rows a little bit, this actually comes a little further.
You need to have that little birdie.
This actually comes, like I say, a little bit further.
Looking.
Up there, and then this might be a little bit more wild. This might be a little darker here. We've got that little tree here, and could I do something light on the roof of this house? Maybe just something about up here like that. But John's doing another drawing for you guys, so you're hanging in there with us.
I've got it ready as soon as you show me the birdie, so the winner will know what they're getting.
All right, so we're drawing for this birdie, going in the other direction.
Oh, that's my favorite guy. Love that guy. And the winner of that is Tint.
Oh, congratulations, Tent. Awesome.
Hails from South Carolina.
Yeah, Tent's been...
So do send us your mailing address, my dear.
Tent, I always appreciate that Tent writes me the nicest comments. And I tell you what, this is totally random. You know, it's not like we're not cheating. I mean, you know,
No, use random.org. Picks a number.
Yeah, but we thank you for hanging with us all this time.
Those are great frames. Where'd you get them? We got those at Jerry's. They're very limited on the sizes they make.
Yeah, we really like them. They're really cute, aren't they?
They're very artsy.
You guys, don't you think that's sort of fun? And again, we just so many different ways you can, you know, paint something. But you know, this is have fun with it, but just keep in mind shapes and perspective. You know you're going to have to, if you've ever done any kind of fields at all, you know you're going to have to think about where all this color goes and why it goes there. Is there a little shadow here, like this and like that? Do I need a little dark shadow somewhere? I need something a little darker right in here. So these are the things. I come back at the end and turn on and off the lights. That's one of the things I like to do. But and I really think that cat's tongue probably is a better one. Who was it said that they wanted to know if they could use a Bristol brush or something? Yeah, I think a stiff brush and then just, you know, doing that is a good idea. You know what I mean? Just kind of rolling the brush around too, like that. I think that's an excellent idea. And just
I'd like to thank everybody that joined us this evening. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe, do so now, if you'd be so kind. If you haven't given a thumbs up, that's always appreciated. Ooh, the signature's going on, and we are one step closer to completing this fine art. Now, it won't be done until the red slash goes through it.
You always have to make sure that you have the two O's there.
And she's got to look at it, make sure.
You've got to make sure that they read as O's. Yes and yes?
Yep.
All right, you guys. Next week, we're going to do something totally different. But I hope if you enjoyed this, let us know.
Again, the frames are from Jerry's Artorama.
Yeah, and we did some pretty normal colors here.
I think we have a...
Do I get a bird anywhere?
What? No.
No birds? You don't think
the bird
so?
would be so small unless he's in the front.
I know. All right, no birds. All right, but there.
No bird, no tractor.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for the donations. Oh, even if you're watching this a second, this keeps us going. Inflation has hit everybody really hard, particularly John and I too. Just replacing art materials is very expensive. We want to be able to scholarship other people because it's been hitting other people hard too. So your donations really help us. Your contributions. If you feel like we've done a good job, just share the video. That's a kind thing you can do. Share it with everybody. Say, look what Ginger painted, and just share it with all your Facebook friends, whether they paint or not. And you might ask, I'm thinking about painting this myself. What do you think?
You just painted it.
That's a good one. No, I'm talking about, they can say that.
Oh, that's a quote.
Yeah, they can say, like, I'm thinking about painting this myself. What are your thoughts?
So you kind of got into their character.
So, maybe the person might say, oh, would you paint me one? You never know. You might find a commission out of this. Never know. Show it to your friends and say, what do you think? Should I paint one? And, that's a good way to share the video, too. Then it's not too awkward.
We don't want you to be awkward.
Well, I mean, it could be awkward, right? It could be awkward.
Mona hung in there the entire night.
Wow, Mona.
You get the gold star.
You get the gold star. I hope this, thanks very much for hanging out with us, you guys. Love you, and we'll see you next Monday. And don't forget to join our Acrylic Facebook club. And so we can see I want to see what you're painting. And I can't wait to see the final entries into our contest, which got great prizes.
All right. And enjoy some of the outtakes from our auction, as many of you have seen before. Sorry, I just can't stop showing it.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Start again.
Start it again.
All right. We'll start again, right?
Yeah, we'll start again.
Clapping. All right, we're starting again because we've only done this like 3,000 times. But what we're telling you is I wanted you to know about our art auction that's coming up really soon. About 4 times a year, we take all the paint, well, not all the paintings. We find a lovely selection of paintings from 6x8 to, maybe 16x20 or larger that we've done in not just in our YouTube classes, but also in our Art Academy acrylic lessons, and we put them up for auction. And if you ever wanted to own a Ginger Cook original, this is the time to get them. Come over to our auction, gingercookauction.com. Come look at the new beautiful paintings that we have that you can own, and they all come with a certificate of authenticity and personalized to you, and all varnished and ready to frame or hang.
Woo, she did it in 50, people. Look at her go.
Did I say everything?
Yep. I think you did.
Was that okay?
I think so. 20-second spot only takes 30 minutes.
Right here. One of the features that is offered on our website let's try again. Besides a certificate of authenticity on the paintings, which is really the best feature.
Yes, that alone. I haven't done click on the thumbnail yet.
I did. I said click on the thumbnail.
Okay,
Then I said, okay. Another great feature of our auction site is the robotic eviction. Start again. You'd think I drank, wouldn't you? All right, sorry.
All right, here we go.
Another great feature.
You want to go from the robot again? Or
Yeah.
try to get that silly robot done?
One of the great features of our auction site is our robotic.
Robotic what? Oh, yes.
Is the option of, let me try.
It's a what they call an automatic bidding system.
Okay, that's better because I can't say robot apparently. And bidding at the same time.
But let's go for the automatic bidding system.
To bid, register to bid. Okay, let me start again. All right. I don't know how I can't.
Close. So close. Almost had it.
God, they couldn't afford to have me make a movie, be there with
Oh, we could never afford this.
we couldn't afford this. All right, the budget bid for you, and then being able to walk away and not worry that someone has outbid you. Well, that's still good, but
By a quarter. Don't worry about that. What happened to hard hugs from John and Ginger?
let's try that again.
No hard hugs here, people. You're on your own.